Good evening. I'd like to call this regular city meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for invocation. Mr. Juan, can you lead us, sir?
Yes, we can please bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come today to bow our heads and open this meeting in prayer. We ask for your guiding hand to lead us through this meeting. May we approach our task with wisdom, and may we approach our member with respect. May our conduct create an environment of cooperation and kindness. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work this day. We ask these things in your powerful name. Amen.
Flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Ms. Brenda, do we have any public comments? No? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Juan.
Mayor, Commissioner, staff, community, special guests, welcome to this meeting. Mayor, if I may, I'd like to, if we can skip the order, go to the second item on the presentation on departmental reports. It's under utility report. I'd like to present the team that will be heading over to San Antonio, representing the city of San Juan, as they're going to a competition that is called a hydrant hysteria competition. I know that myself and a couple of other commissioners went maybe once before. It was a superb competition that our people put together. So Mr. David Salinas is here. He wanted to bring them over, showcase what they do at the competition. There's no pressure, but
No
they're
pressure
going to
at
beat their mark, which is at a minute 47. I think they're saying that it's going to be done within a minute and 20. So let's put them to the task and see what they can do. Mr. Salinas.
Mayor, Commissioners, the coach for the team. Then we have Domingo Perez, who's one of our wastewater lead operators. So he's part of the team that'll be assembling the hydrant. Then we have Aaron Lopez. He's one of our newest employees, but he jumped in the mix and he's going to be competing. So it's a brand new team from the previous, but we do have Julio Bazan and not present today, Salvador Mendoza, which are the alternates in the event that one of the other gentlemen can't attend. So we'll have a team to compete. So right now they're able to assemble it in a minute and 47 seconds. They might get a little bit nervous tonight, but it's a good kickoff for what they're going to have to face off in San Antonio in a couple of weeks. So we'll be there the first week of April. Competition is probably on Tuesday and Wednesday, so it'll be
What's the date on that?
April 4th through the 7th is Texas Water. The competition is usually Tuesday and Wednesday, with the first day being Tuesday and then Wednesday being the final. So if they make it, they go into the final. So I'll go ahead and bring them up so we can get out of here. I don't want to steal the young lady's thunder that we're waiting for her presentation.
Yeah, I'd like to see this.
So we go ahead and come on over.
Are you going to time them?
Yeah, Julio will be timing them.
I can't see, I'm sorry. I can't see.
So before everything, they set up exactly where they're going to be, everything that they're allowed to set. They're not allowed to touch anything. Once they're ready, they tell the judges they're ready. They get to the position, and then they'll count it off and they'll get going.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So then after they finish assembly, after they finish assembly, there is a team of judges that will come and check. For every nut that is loose, they'll deduct seconds. So they'll take it all apart, they'll check the lid, they'll check the, like that right there, that would cost them 5 seconds. Alright, so that would cost them. Alright, so. And then they'll take it apart from the inside and they'll start taking it apart. And even if the nozzle isn't straight, so they'll stand right here and look at it, like this one is crooked, so that's gonna cost them 3 seconds, because it's not straight with
Boss, it's straight to us.
yeah, well, you can't see it, but yeah. But I'm just letting you know, that's what goes into the competition, that's stuff that they're looking for, and that's what the coach is there for, to tell them you need to turn it. So right now, I'm blaming the coach, because he didn't tell them that he needed to turn the nozzle. But thank you all, we'll get out of your way.
You know that that's gonna be part of your presentation.
One of those. That's great. Good job. Congratulations. Good luck, gentlemen. Good luck.
So there you have it, Mayor Commissioners. I mean, there's no excuses anymore that it takes too long to set one of those up. We saw it firsthand, less than 2 minutes. So anyways.
Go ahead, sir.
Going back to the agenda, Mayor Commissioners, we have a presentation tonight recognizing Jessica Villanueva as a Psja High School State Wrestling Champion. For that, Mr. Patrick.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, Commission.
Good evening, sir.
It's a be before you all this evening to recognize one of our special and very talented athletes here in the city of San Juan. Jessica visited us a few months back, and we recognized her at being ranked in the nation by USA Wrestling. And her achievements, she had many achievements up to then. This season, I believe it's her senior season, right, Jessica? She achieved the highest achievement you can in the state of Texas in UIL, and that was state champion. And along the way, she not only achieved the state championship, but she did it with a perfect 40-0 record. So tonight, first of all, I want to call Coach Rendon, her head wrestling coach, up here. Jessica. So tonight, the city of San Juan proudly recognizes Jessica Villanueva from the Psja Early College High School for her outstanding performance and victory at the 2022 6A State Wrestling Championships with a 40-0 record. So we'd like to present her with this plaque. And did an outstanding job, and she's really put San Juan or Psja High Wrestling on the map in the state of Texas. Going 40-0 undefeated on anything is very difficult, and we just wanted to recognize her for that great achievement. Coach Jessica, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I would just like to thank you guys for presenting her. This is a huge accomplishment. She's been, setting the bar high ever since she started wrestling. She's been pushing past boundaries. This is the first year that there's been 2 Valley State champions, and this is, I believe, the first 6A state champion in the Valley. And Jessica's just been pushing that bar higher and higher for our program, for the city of San Juan, and for everybody in the Valley. And doing it without, we don't have 5 or 6 clubs down here that provide that type of training. Basically it's her grit and her determination, and she really showed the state of Texas that we have some tough kids here. Wrestling's a tough sport. It takes a different type of kid to be that successful. And she's showing everybody that there's some tough kids down here, and it's just going to keep going on from here. And thank you guys again for showing the appreciation with this plaque and recognizing her. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, so I wrote something down for this. First off, I would like to give all my glory to God from the day He placed me in my mother's and father's arms to the day my hand was raised as state today. He has been my constant. Secondly, my parents, my brothers, and my family. I want to thank you for always loving me and being there for me. Y'all have made me strong, independent, and believer, and most of all, humble. I would like to thank my coaches as well. My first grade coach, Joey Villanueva, my Bubba. You sparked my love for wrestling and taught me to be tough always, especially when I got second and you remind me I was the first loser. Coach Moses Vega and Lightning. Without your dedication, support, and focus on my technique and skill, there was no way I could ever have gotten to this level of wrestling. And Coach Rendon, you started this athlete on the road to state when you and my brother got me wrestling with All Valley in 8th grade. Something tells me you never expected a state champ that would come from the girly cheerleader that showed up with her big brother. I've been so blessed to have you coaches by my side through all my wrestling career. I would also like to thank my friends, AJ, Val, and Mika, for being a great support system for me as well. They talked with me through the tough times where I was so let down by some of my performances, but they were there for me through it all. Finally, to Mayor, oh my God, I want to cry, Mayor Garza and our city commissioners, I want to thank you for our contributions that helped me continue to train and compete at the national level. From personal purchases during my fundraisers to city contributions, you helped me more than y'all will never know. Thank you all. It is all because of you that now I hold the title of a state champion. Thank you.
Wow, congratulations. Hey, in here, come on.
Mr. Lee, call your dad. Come on over here, guys.
Just.
With the photo?
Oh, just watching over here.
Good job, Coach. Good job. Good job.
Comments? No? You good? Well, Jessica, once again, in behalf of the city of San Juan and the commission, we want to congratulate you with your success. Like our director, Mr. Willingham, mentioned, you put San Juan on the map, and that is huge, huge. Not anybody can do that. And you're very talented, and I thank your parents, for supporting you, your friends, and your coaches for standing and believing in you. And not only them, but the city commission as well. We're out here day in, day out, making decisions that are going to affect 38,000 people, but we're also here for our young athletes, our students. We're going to do anything we can possibly to help them get where they need to get, okay? Just to kind of touch up, Coach, in reference to what you made a comment in reference to the gyms and not having gyms when it comes to wrestling. I know we got a director, Mr. Ruben Guajardo, who's in charge of the San Juan PAL. He's our PAL director. And so we've been talking here with the commission and with Mr. Guajardo in reference to we're going to have boxing, and we're also going to implement wrestling. And I would love for you guys and Jessica, your expertise, to get with Mr. Guajardo, showing these young kids, because this is a rare sport. Everyone focuses more on the bigger sports, which is great, but wrestling is a sport where you don't have too many kids that are participating. Am I correct? So I think right now we're on the right track to really promote wrestling as well through our PAL program and Mr. Guajardo, okay? I can imagine how many letters you have in your mailbox. Is there several schools after you? You don't have to say. I know the day's going to come, but I'm so happy for you and your family and your friends, okay? We're here. The city of San Juan's here with open arms. If you need anything, please contact us. God bless you, and God bless your family and your career. Thank you. Thank you, guys. What's it?
The next item under presentation, we have a presentation of departmental reports. Tonight we have the Department of Finance, the Fire Department, Police Department, Municipal Court, and Department of Utilities. Should you have any questions for them, everybody's here available for any questions you may have for them.
Garza, you got your new truck in already?
Yes, ma'am. It's currently being displayed at the All Hazard Conference in McAllen tomorrow.
Great.
We took some other equipment that they requested out there also, so we've got some of our equipment out there, but the truck got here Sunday.
You're still working on training though, so it's not in service
Oh,
currently?
no, yeah, I spoke to the salesman today, and we're looking into possibly three days next week on the training to catch all 3 shifts. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Chief, real quick, we
Yes,
had
sir.
a fire on you or?
We went to the county line for, yes,
Okay,
sir.
We responded
Yes, sir.
properly and well?
We went to that one, and then we went to the one that was on the north end
Okay.
also. Yes, sir.
Let the men know that,
Yes, sir.
we appreciate it. Stuff.
Will
I
do.
heard good things about that and how everybody responded, not only San Juan, the cities,
Correct.
to very windy and stuff like that. And
Yes,
it
sir.
took everybody to get it under control.
Yeah,
So
I'll let them know, Commissioner.
thank you for that.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I guess just to follow up, Chief
Yes,
Garza, in reference to, I had made a comment to our chief in reference to maybe on our next agenda, put the truck on there so where he can do a presentation. And then you can maybe bring the truck over here.
Sure.
The members of the commission and even the community come out early. They want to bring their kids, take a picture with our new fire truck and
Yes, sir.
stuff like that. So,
We'll get it done.
okay, because I know you mentioned it's over there in McAllen.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions for the directors?
Yes, Miss Mary, with court, I noticed that the collections had increased from 2021 to 2022. But on your citations from February of 2021 to 2022, there was a 53 count difference. Is there anything to account for that, in your opinion? Chief?
All right, what was the
The question is that on the report that we have the citations issued from 2021 to 2022. In 2021, we had 53 more. I'm just not sure, maybe in your opinion, what was, why we had a difference? I know it's not going to be exactly the same, but is there anything to contribute to the difference in the count?
No, it's just those are citations, just in reference to.
Just in general, across the
Correct.
board? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on. Go ahead, sir.
The next item under public hearing ordinances, we have the first ordinance, which is consideration approval of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of obligations designated as City of San Juan, Texas Public Property Finance Contractual Obligations, Series 2022, levying an annual ad valorem tax within the limitations prescribed by law for the payment of the contractual obligations, prescribing the form, terms, conditions, and authorizing the execution of documents incident related to the issuance, the sale, and delivery of the contractual obligations and other matters in connection therewith. As you may recall, the last meeting, we approved the reimbursement resolution on this item for the pumper truck that we just talked about. And this is for the financial. We have Mr. Chris Vela here to give us a brief presentation on the different bidders when they went out for bids on this particular item. There were 5 of them. One of them was at a very good interest rate. So here's Mr. Vela to give us that short presentation on that transaction that is about to be taking place.
This is just a normal.
Yes, sir. It's not a public hearing. My bad on that.
Thank you, Mr. Arjona, Mayor, members of the City Commission, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Vela with
evening,
Hilltop
sir.
Securities, financial advisors to the City of San Juan. As Mr. Arjona recaptured the presentation from the last time that we met on February the 28th, we were authorized to proceed with the funding of contractual obligations for the purchase of a fire pumper truck in the amount of $545,000. And we took bids this morning, and through the use of the placement agent, and on page 3, you have the summary of those bids that we received. Starting from the very top to the bottom, we have a rate of $248, $292, $299, $357.9, and $3.640. So our recommendation would be to go with the lowest bidder, the 2.480, for the funding of this piece of equipment. Assuming approval, the delivery of the funds will be done on April the 19th, and you can proceed with the acquisition of the equipment. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. this time? Wow, that's pretty good, 2.4. That's great.
In this market, it's an excellent, and you can see the disparity as a result of the volatility in the market today, as a result of some of the Fed action that has taken place, and some of the international things that are also taking place as well.
Is there a motion to approve? There's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Mayor, before we go to the next item, I just want to thank Mr. Vela for his dedication and commitment to us, pretty much as our financial advisor. As you may not know, but Mr. Vela's retirement comes to an end. Comes to a start as a retired person. By the end of the month, Mr. Vela? By the end of this month, you'll be retiring? March the 31st. So that'll be in a couple of weeks. Mr. Vela is going to be enjoying life, the retirement, good life, right, Mr. Vela? Maybe at the island. And I know that we were barely getting to know Mr. Vela, and Mr. Leroy Gonzalez was barely losing that fear that he had, from you. He always said it from day one, yo le tengo mucho miedo a Mr. Vela. But in good faith, Mr. Vela, thank you so much for the dedication and commitment you always gave us here with the City of San Juan. And it's no mistake. He made good things happen for us. And you just saw it here with that 2.48% interest, very aggressively that they worked on, and they've always done a tremendous job. So thank you so much, Mr. Vela. We're going to miss you.
Congratulations, Mr. Vela. Thank you. Thank you. Good job.
The next item under appointment of the Mayor Commissioners, consider the appointment of a member of the City of San Juan Commission to the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board as the city ex-official. On the as we know, the bylaws ask for an ex-official. for this particular board, so we're coming before you.
This is the one there where I'm on there, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
You are?
Keep someone.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to appoint, I guess, myself
Okay, sir.
again for the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board. That's in the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next one, consider removing appointment of board members related to the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board.
Now, on this one, I know, we got a, hold on. I know we got I don't know if it's late, but the application on Mr. Muniz, he made
Yes,
made it
he's
on
still
time and
interested.
everything. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to keep, Jennifer, Homer, Monica, Yvonne, and Rubio, for the simple fact that they've been working tremendously when they were with Mr. Garza. At the time, I know he oversaw the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board. So I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and appoint, well, actually,
You appoint them all.
The same ones?
The same ones.
yeah, but
It's only for
Exactly.
Ms. Jennifer Villarreal, Homero Villarreal, Yvonne Lopez, and Rubio Muñoz.
okay, so at this time, I'll make a motion to reappoint Jennifer, Vidal, Homer, Yvonne, and Rubio Munoz. Is there a second? It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is consider the approval and designation of a liaison from the City Commission to the San Juan Memorial Library Advisory Board as stated in the bylaws.
So in reference, this is more like an ex officio,
Yes,
right?
sir.
At this time, I'm going to make a motion to appoint Commissioner Dina Santian to the Library Board. It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Under discussion and possible action, we have a variance request to the Construction Standards Manual to allow a fiberglass sewer manholes with concrete foundation at the proposed orchards of San Juan subdivision is requested by Cruz Hogan Consultants Inc. Corporation. Mr. Tijerina?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This variance request is for, as Mr. Arjona read, for the orchards of San Juan subdivision. This subdivision was approved on January 25th, 2020, and production of the manholes at this time is taking 16 to 20 weeks. So they're requesting a variance to be able to utilize the concrete manholes. And in speaking to Mr. Salinas and our engineer, one of the 4 consultants, it's okay. So staff recommends approval of this variance.
What is the difference of, what's the advantage of, or what's the issue here? We're just, if we go ahead and wait, it's just going to prolong the project. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
We've approved this for previous subdivisions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So what's the advantage or disadvantage of using the concrete versus fiberglass bottom manholes?
As it's just.
Do you know?
I do not know about. The reason it's before you today, it's because it's in our detailed standards manual. So it requires fiberglass, and since it's not going to be because of the time period, that's what it is. But Mr.
No, I
Cruz-
get that, but
Yeah.
I just want to know what.
David,
If I may, Mayor, the advantage of using a fiberglass bottom, it reduces groundwater infiltration in the manhole. As concrete ages, ground here shifts. As you all know, we have a lot of clay
Correct.
soil, so it expands as it dries and gets wet. The concrete tends to break and crack and allows water to infiltrate through the bottom, which is one of the reasons why we went to fiberglass manholes. Unfortunately, everybody's having the same issue is they're 16 to 20 weeks away just to get them delivered because it's taking a long time to fabricate them with the bottoms on it. So one of the things that we're checking is at the time of construction, we're asking them to do the vacuum testing to make sure that they're completely sealed, of course, the coating. And we also verify construction as it's going on to make sure that they're using the right PSI concrete, which at this time we're requesting 4,000 PSI concrete for the base. Of course, the reinforcement with the rebar as well. So that'll give us more stability, better chance of it not failing. Well, it fail in the long run, of course, concrete is going to deteriorate. It's concrete. It happens. It's going to be in contact with water. So it's just going to require more maintenance. But
Are in agreement with the 4,000 PSI?
yes. Yes, we've allowed it at different subdivisions.
Yeah, I was going to
as
say,
well.
we've done this before.
Correct. For the same reason is that it just, right now, it's just taking a lot for the raw material to be sourced to fabricate them, and that's what the issue is.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, Mayor Commissioners, consider an approval of the annual audit and financial report for the city of San Juan, Texas for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. Tonight we have Mr. Garcia here to give us a presentation on the financial audit. And I think everybody should have a copy of the booklet here in front of you. And Ms. Tina.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Arjona, and city staff. My name is Manuel Garcia, and I'm with Garcia and Peña CPAs out of Westlaco, and I'm here to go over your audit report for the year ending September 30, 2021. And of course, answer any questions you may have on this report. Does everybody have a report to begin with? I'd like to start on page A, and that's the independent auditor's report. This is almost a 3-page report, but basically I'll just go over the main sections of it. On the very top of the report on the financial statement, we define the scope of this audit, which is we're going to audit the financial statements of the governmental activities, the business type activities, which is your water and sewer fund, and the aggregate blended percentage component units that you have in the city. The second paragraph defines management responsibility, then the auditor's responsibility is down below that. And of course, our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. And of course, we conducted our audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted here in the United States of America. And the appropriate and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in government issued by the Comptroller General of the U.S. And then on the following page at the very top, we have our opinion on the report. And we have a clean opinion on this report. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, and the aggregate blended percentage component units, and each major fund, and the remaining fund information of the city of San Juan. Then, of course, we have a report on the summarized comparative information, and then we have some supplementary information in the back of the report, and also we have a report required by government auditing standards, which has to do with auditing, with the compliance with your accounting rules, finance, and financial information in reference to grants. And then on page 1 and 2, we have the statement of net position for September 30, 21 compared to 2020. On page 1, we have the assets and the deferred outflow of resources for the city of San Juan. And we have a comparison to 2020 as well. We started top with the cash and cash equivalents for the two funds for the year, for the whole city, is $20 million that you have in the bank, $17 million compared to last year. Your investment are sitting at $21 million compared to $11 million in the prior year. And those are the largest amounts that you have besides your fixed assets towards the bottom of the report. And then, of course, total assets are $73,123,000 for this year. The utility fund has $74 million. The total is $147 million compared to $136 in the prior year. Any questions?
Questions? No? Okay.
On page 2, we have the liabilities, and of course we have deferred inflows and of resources and net position of the city. Our total liabilities for governmental activities are 41 million. Of course, this includes just your payables and includes also the bonds and notes that you have. On the utility fund, we show total liabilities of 27 million, 24 million being the long-term debt. In the governmental funds, we have 32 million as your bonds and notes, for a total of 57 million for this year compared to 52 million last year. And of course, deferred inflows of 267, 79, 346. One of the items on your liabilities is unearned revenues, is 4,625,000 that we have this year. And this is really a grant that you received towards the end of the year from the, what was the name of the? The Texas Department of Emergency Management. At this point, the state hasn't finalized how that money is supposed to be used. They had initially come up with it was supposed to be for first responders, but they've taken that back, so they're going to come back and whenever they get a chance, they meet with the city and go over how this money is supposed to be spent. But either way you cut it, it's a good grant. Down below, we have the net position, which is your capital. We have an investment in capital assets, net of related debt in the governmental funds of 4 million, 21 million in the water and sewer fund for a total of 25 million for the city. Down below, we have the restrictions on your capital. We have a restriction for debt service of 1,500,000, 2,200,000 for the whole city. We have capital projects with $17 million in process, 11 million in the water and sewer fund, and 29 million for the total. The economic development, we have a restriction of 1,683,000 because we have the municipal court, federal and state awards, other purposes, and the unrestricted portion for the general fund is 5,535,000, 12 million in the utility fund for a total of 18 million. And this is probably the part that we all look at the unrestricted, because this is what you have to work with, that you can work with throughout the year. Everything else is already designated for projects. On pages 3 and 4, we have the statement of activities for the year, which is really is the profit and loss statement. That's where we have the revenues and expenses. But what I'd like to do is, where is it? I had a 5-year summary that I think that, I don't know if y'all have it. And the 5-year summary that I have here is probably a lot easier to follow than pages 1 and 2. The presentation is better organized in terms of revenues and expenses. And of course, we have the governmental activities at the very top. And 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, and 2017. And total revenue this year were 19,208,000 versus 21 million last year. The main difference here is in the operating grants and contributions. Last year we had 4,531,000. This year you only have 319,000. So that's the big difference between 21 and 19. The other item that stands out for this year is we have a bond premium of 1,077,000. And also on the charges for services, we went from 820,000 last year to 1,004,000 this year. And most of that increase comes from the subdivisions that have been developing around the city. The other item that's important to look at is if you look at your property taxes all the way from 2017, 18, 19, and 20, you see a steady increase every year. The same thing goes with your sales taxes from 3,600,000 2017 to 5,240,000 this year. And the franchise taxes as well went from 934,000, and we're at 991,000 this year. So all of your main revenues have been in a steady growth over the last 5 years.
So there's been an increase
Yes, sir.
from 2017 to 2021. There's been a pretty steady increase, right? Am I correct? And on both, yeah.
Huh?
Constant increase.
Yes. So it's all, those are very good, very positive for the city. We have 17 million for the year compared to 18 million. So you had some decreases from last year to this year. And I think this was expected because of the COVID expenditures that you had last year. And of course, it goes along with the grants that you received also. So it offsets the increase from last year was offset with those COVID money coming in. And then if you look at 17, 18, 19, and 20, it's the same thing. All of them, all those items have started increasing from 2,000,009 in 17, 3,005,000 18, 3,005,000 in 19, 4,007,000 last year, and of course it dropped to 4,003,000 this year. And public safety also dropped this year from last year. Last year was 8,005,000, this year 7,500,000. We started at 5,500,000 in 17. Public works is the one that took a big jump in the last few years from 830 from 17, 846 in 18, and 992 19. Then last year was 1.4, and this year is 1.3. Culture and recreation also has been increasing from 1,005,000 to 2 million this year. And economic development as well has been up and down a little bit over the years. We started at 422, we had 882 in 18, we had 636,000 last year, 680 this year. And then of course we have the interest on the bonds and the issuance costs. Of course, the last 3 years you've been issuing bonds, so it's been going up. The change in net position, the profit for this year on the governmental fund is 2,086,000 compared to 3 million last year, and 495,000 in 19, 1,002,000 in 18, and 2,004,000 in 17. Any questions?
Mayor, I just want to point out that if you look at the government activities 2120 and that 4 million, that's in reference because of the COVID monies. So if we were to take that off, then it would have been an increase from last year to this year. But because of the COVID monies that were given to the cities, yes, sir. So that's the reason why it's from 19 to 21.
Down below that, we have the type activities, which is your water and sewer fund. And this one's a little more difficult to analyze because it's been steady. In water sales, we're 2,006,000 in 17. We have 2,005,000 in 21, I'm sorry. And we had 2,005,000 last year, 2,005,000 in 19, and 2,005,000 in 18. So some of those revenues dropped from 17 to now, And then on the sewer fees as well, we have a 2,009,000 in 17, 2,008,000, 18, 2,006,000, 2,008,000, 3,071,000 this year. And of course we have grants and we have some contributions and we have other income, and then we have the transfers. And the transfers are normally to the general fund. So total revenues this year, 8,005,000, last year was 8.9. Expenditures. Now, the expenditures this year are 8,864,000 versus the income of, 8,864,162 expenditures versus 8,005,000 last year. So we end up this year with a loss of 286,000. Last year we had a profit of 153. 19 was 1.4. 18 was 1.6, and 17 was 909,000. And in looking at this, if you look at the difference between water revenues, water services, which are the expenses, the revenues was just slightly over the 24 over 25, and then the sewer is 3 million versus 2.4 expenses. Now the garbage and brush fees, the expenditures were 3,000,004. The revenue was 3.2. So that's one of the reasons we have the loss. But if you want to be in a safe side, look at 17, which is the lowest year of profits. One of the lowest years initially was 909,000. So you want to be more or less in this range. So the difference that you got to have between the revenues and the expenses is about 500,000 for each category between water sales, sewer, and refuse fees. You need to come in at about 300,000 to 500,000 above your expenses, so that you didn't end up in the red here. So the only way to do that is either increase the rates or find ways to reduce the expenditures. On the garbage fees, you're doing your own pickup, so you have some control of some of those expenses, except when you take it out to the landfill. They have control over there of the expenses because.
Let me ask you this, so just a comment. If we were, like, do you do audits with other municipalities when they like outsource their garbage, and do you see a savings there or no? That's just
No,
not at all.
no, because you would think there would be, but I haven't seen that.
No, you haven't. Okay.
And the other thing that is different, and maybe. See, when a business entity picks up the garbage and trash for a city or any place that they work with, and then when they want to get out of the business and they bring in another company, they sell that business to the new company. So the new company has to pay the old company a fee to be able to take over that business. But what I've seen in cities, they don't sell it. They pretty much give it away. They tell, yeah, how much are you going to charge me? And the new company comes in and starts billing the city for it. But there was no exchange of money to have the privilege of doing that account,
And just for the record, I mean, I just want to make this clear that I know we've been approached in outsourcing our trash and brush, but I'm not a big fan of it. And for the simple reason that I like the mere fact that the city controls its money, how, but you brought up a point, and that's something that the commission is going to have to decide whether, in order to increase the revenues, it's either what you mentioned, the rates, or we cut on expenditures, and that's something that we really need to have out.
Maybe if I may just point out, and you're absolutely right. One of the things that we all know that we don't charge the garbage fees. I mean, the brush.
I get that, but the situation, and no, you're absolutely correct, because we see it in the bill. I see it in my bill. There's no fee. I mean, other cities do charge for a brush fee. But what I'm saying is, and I sound like a broken record, is that we have a lot of development in our city. New rooftops are popping up, and is that going to affect these numbers? Obviously, it's gonna. It
is going to, yes.
Yeah, so we really need to, I think, start focusing on
Right.
what we.
And the thing is the city is growing.
Yeah.
There's more brush.
Correct.
That we're hitting the garbage, and we're really not compensating.
No,
one for the other.
exact. But that's when we need to sit down and I guess just have our own workshop in reference just for those matters right there.
Also, tidy up some of on the expenditure side. On this expenditure side, what are some of the options that we may have to go through?
Well, that's the point, is that
And see.
in this department, I mean, where are you going to cut if we're increasing?
Can't afford to cut.
Yeah,
We can't
it's
cut.
you're not going to. In other words,
What I'm trying to say is that exactly.
you can't cut.
It's even if you look at it, I mean, the water service, sewer service, garbage, there's nowhere to be cut, because we're growing.
Recycle, we don't charge for recycle. We don't have a fee for recycle, so that's something we incur as
So
well.
I think in the future, ladies and gentlemen, I think we really need to sit down and work on a workshop in reference to it.
Mayor, and I know we're growing by leaps and bounds, as we see, and I think that we got to keep up, you know. So I'm in agreement with that workshop, Mayor, as soon as possible. We can start
Yeah,
working.
no, definitely. Anything, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions? Mr. Leroy, you've reviewed this, right? And based on your recommendation, since you are the money man, what is your comment in reference to this audit? Overall, sir. Sure. Mhm. Correct. Okay. But other than that, overall, besides the rates, the audit looks good for you, Mr. Arjona?
It's a good solid audit. As a matter of fact, there's unmodified, so that's the best that we can get. So it is a good audit.
Perfect.
I want to thank and congratulate everyone here for allowing us to do this type of work when about safekeeping our monies and spending our monies where we're supposed to spend them and making those revenues. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Gonzalez, your staff, everybody. Thank you for this particular audit. Thank you, sir.
Good job. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Well,
Appreciate it.
thank you all
With
for
that-
allowing us to be your independent auditors on this
Sure.
report.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
With that being said, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Well, one more item.
Yes, sir.
We don't have any negatives to report in the back of the report. Normally, we have encounter problems that we make recommendations for corrections. We don't have any this year. All the problems that we had in 19 and 20 have been corrected.
Thank you.
It's a very
Thank you
good
so much,
report.
sir. Appreciate that.
Mr. Arjona, quick question. I know you gave us the expense report for the 4th of July. Do we have the one for Noche de Paz?
I'll have it ready. I mean, it's preliminary, but I'll talk to you about that on maybe behind,
Okay,
about that Noche de Paz.
okay. And then on this one, on the 4th of July event, what was the budgeted amount for the 4th of July?
I don't have a number.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
have a
okay.
number? 35?
35 was the budget amount? Okay.
We're good there.
We're over?
Okay.
It was 31,000 is the
31
final
was the cost of the
expenditures.
city and
that's the
35
average.
was the
Gotcha.
Pretty
budget.
much.
That's what we've been for the
Yes,
past
sir.
several years.
So that one's 4th of July,
Go ahead, sir. We're on C.
Yes, on item C, consider an approval of the FAR Police Department and the San Juan Police Department desire to enter into memorandum of understanding MOU concerning the utilization of the San Juan Police booking facility from Friday, April the 1st, 2022 through Monday, April the 4th, 2022. Ms. Brenda Escalante just passed out the MOU. This is a revised item. The only difference, Mayor Commissioners, is in the very top, where it says the memorandum of understanding was made and entered into by in between the city of FAR through the FAR Police Department and the city of San Juan through the San Juan Police Department. Nothing changes as far as the body goes. It was just that. So we're going to update this on the agenda so we can make this as a permanent record. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners and City Manager. Basically, this MOU is that's being requested by FAR PD and the San Juan Police Department. It's in reference to housing their prisoners for the starting April 1st through April 4th of 2022. The police department, FAR Police Department, right now is going through a renovation, and they should be starting that weekend. So they're just asking for us to provide them a facility. That is all we're providing. They're providing the manpower, everything, all the logistics is being provided by them. We are only, again, that is not bringing a burden to the city of San Juan or the San Juan Police Department. They will have personnel on staff. They will be providing meals for their prisoners. They will be providing transportation. All we're doing is providing them a facility for the overnight. And of course, they'll also be handling their arraignments and so forth. That is correct, ma'am.
Questions?
Not a question, it's kind of just an idea, and I know I've been through these kind of memorandums, but it'd be kind of wise for our agency ourselves to make yearly with back and forth, even with neighboring agencies, because you never know what might happen at our jails, that we could shut it down for whatever, for contamination, whatever. Like that, we don't have to come every month or every 2 months and have it, see if you want to talk to the chiefs and talk to their administration. So we can work ourselves to where we have MOUs with both cities, or actually the city there, whoever you'd like.
Absolutely.
On a yearly, so like that, every year we renew it, and there's always that coverage, and we don't have to lose time in case of emergency.
That's correct, and that's a great idea. I'll be speaking to Chief Harvey on that note. Just to confirm is that the MOU was reviewed by our legal department. Everything is in place, and that's a great opportunity for us to be able to develop and continue that relationship with FAR PD, and because we do have a older facility, and we might be in that situation ourselves. So that's definitely an MOU that we have to create for a year on a yearly basis.
Any other questions? All righty. If not, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, discussion and possible action to award RFP number 22-005-02-24, number 13, rehabilitation project to the lowest, most responsible bidder, and authorize city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Mr. Salinas?
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. Back on February 2022, we went out for bids. February 2nd of 2022, went out for bids for the rehab of lift station number 13, which is the one by the recycling center. So we're going to build a whole new lift station there, put in an auto control unit. We did receive 5 different bids. We did break up that project into 2 different projects, one to build the lift station, the other one to lay the force main. It's 2 different construction type of work. Not every contractor wanted to bid on each. So we did receive 2 bids for what we call Contract A, which is the lift station. One from Go Underground, the other one from JMJ Constructors. And then for Contract B, which is the force main, that's going to be running all the way to lift station number 17. And we received Go Underground, McAllen Multi-Service, and M&J Constructors. We are making a recommendation for the lowest bidder on the Contract A. We are making a recommendation for the second lowest bidder on Contract B. There are some irregularities, not irregularities, there are some concerns that the engineer and myself had with the lowest bidder with lack of experience, and their bid seemed to be a lot lower for the amount of construction that needs to happen. It is, there's a big board that has to happen underneath the railroad and business. And we did reach out and looked at the references, and they really didn't have a lot of references doing that type of work. So we're recommending we go with the second lowest bidder. They have more experience, better personnel, and they've done this type of work before.
And who was the engineer consulted with?
The engineer is Cruz Hogan. He's here in the room if you have any questions for Mr. Orlando Cruz.
Now, as far as change orders.
We're hoping not to have that. That's why
you know, that's always been an issue, even when it comes to street projects.
Yep.
If an engineer or a firm or somebody comes and tells us it's going to cost $4 million, and then they turn and we get a change order for an additional $300,000, that's where I have concerns on. And now, that's why I bring that up.
Yeah, no, and that's always a concern. We do have contingency in both of these projects. That the budget, the construction is under budget. Even with selecting the bid bidders that we're talking about, it is under budget. So we do have a cushion in there because there are some unforeseen stuff that we just could not identify at lift station number 13, and it's an older lift station. We do not have designs for that. So once they start excavating, so there is some money in contingency in there, plus there's some money because of the fact that it's under budget to
I'm
cover some
assuming that the individuals who assess those lists are experts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a construction that happened many, many years ago, and we just can't see what's underground unless we excavate it completely.
Well, just make sure that if for some odd reason it does, if there's a change order, I'd like for it to be on the agenda.
Yeah, any change order will come to the commission. We will not issue change order. In fact, since it's being funded through Texas Water Development Board Fund, the change orders also have to be approved by Texas Water Development Board.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll go to commission before it even goes to Texas Water Development Board.
Okay. So one more time for the record, can you say that? What's your recommendations?
Would be for contract A, go underground for $766,940.
Okay.
And for contract B, which is the force main, would be McAllen Multi-Service Company LLC for $754,700.
That being said, the recommendation of our utility director. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item, Mayor Commissioners, under resolutions, we have consideration approval of resolution approving an engagement agreement for bond counsel and disclosure counsel services with Cantu Harton LLP to maintain Arnoldo Cantu as bond counsel and other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Cantu, good evening. Mr. Cantu is here with us. This item is pretty much to have Mr. Arnold Cantu as our bond counsel from here on out. So if you have any questions for Mr. Cantu, he's right here.
No, I know previous, Mr. Cantu, you've dealt with the city for how long, sir? 2016?
Is that right, Ben?
Yeah, correct. And at that time, employed by,
A firm called
Okay.
Norm
So-
Rose Fulbright now.
correct,
And,
okay. So all we're doing is just shifting.
Yes, sir. From one to the other.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Cantu? You've done a good job, sir. I appreciate your work.
And that's why I like to make the recommendation, keep him as a bond
Yeah.
counsel, as we already know.
No, I know. Any,
They assist the city staff to do good jobs.
with that being said, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, consider resolution authorizing the city of San Juan to submit and accept an application for funding to the Office of the Governor Border Zone Grant for the city of San Juan. So this is just an item asking you all for permission to consider to approve it. It's one of those that we do yearly, Chief.
Border Zone Grant.
Yes. So we do it yearly.
That's the one where we got the vote in the voter.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, consider resolution authorizing the city of San Juan to submit and accept an application for funding to the Office of the Governor Body Worn Cameras Grant for the city of San Juan. This one is another grant that we're submitting for their department, the police department.
That being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
For consent agenda, we have items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J for consideration. Obviously, you can pull any items, should you have any questions for any of these items.
Under consent agenda, is there anything we need to modify or amend under consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under executive session, we have the San Juan City Commission will convene executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon, Texas statutes, and Code Sanitary Government Code, Chapter 551.071. Consultation with attorney. Tonight, we have pursuant to Section 551.074, personal matters, discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer or employee as city secretary or director of sanitation. That's to go to closed session.
That being said, is there a motion to enter executive session? It's been seconded by Commissioner Villegas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will enter at 7:03 PM. We're back from executive session at 7:41 PM. Is there a motion to reconvene?
Second.
It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Under executive session, pursuit section 551.074, personal matters, discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, city secretary. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion and go with city manager and staff's recommendation, Ms. Brenda. That's in a motion. Is there a second? It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under executive session, I'm going to, same thing, pursue to section 551.074, personal matters, discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, sanitation director. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion recommended by our city manager and staff, Mr. Israel Garza. That's in a motion. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Lenny Sanchez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before that, I just want to put it in record that I think this position could have been a little bit open more, for a little bit more experience to the sanitation department. And that's why I voted no. And that's for the record.
Mr. Arjona,
Yes, sir.
how long has what's the standard of having this application process open?
We usually leave them 10 days.
Okay, so how many days was this position open?
It was between 13 and 14 days.
So it's more than standard?
Yes, sir.
So it's about 14, 15 days?
Yes.
Okay, good. And how many applicants applied?
There were actually 6 applicants.
6 applicants, okay. All right. Anything else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 7:44 PM. Thank you.